Okay. Started with HTML, CSS, JSS. All right. Okay. Currently third year, final year, right? Okay. Mm-hmm. Third year basics of React. थोड़ा बहुत. ठीक है. Second year hacker Butler technology. Okay. Kanpur. Okay. Okay. Sounds good. Experience in mechanical engineering, fresher in software engineering. Sounds good. Okay. Third year BCA basic. ठीक है. तो मतलब it is like you guys have done something or the other in some things, right? Some of you guys have done in HTML, CSS, JavaScript. Some of you guys have something done in Node, sometime make it a project, something like that, right? So that is good. I mean, the more experience you have, that is better. But technically, that is not required. Okay, and I'll try to overview. Or I'll try to give you an overview how the projects are made and all that stuff. Okay, that is what I'll try to give you an overview. Let's probably start. And okay, feel free to ping me and stop me in case something is not clear. Okay, something is not clear and yeah, you can fill it at the end part also, right? So that was technically planned at the end, but I think you can fill that now also. So maybe yeah, LinkedIn ID. I'll try to share it at the end. We can connect on that LinkedIn ID. Definitely. Just a small question: how many of you guys have already attended some or the other workshops with me? Anybody? So I've been taking workshops with Cuvette. Me, okay. Sounds good. Okay, so people are repeating that also. 'Cause this is first. Okay. Okay, so a lot of people. Link is disabled and end the workshop first time. 3 workshops. Acha. First session with you. Okay, sounds good. Sounds good. Okay. So welcome for all those people who are new. Netflix clone. Okay. The link. Okay, I'll share the link once again. Good, good, good. Welcome, welcome. First session. That's fine. Welcome. Okay. It's the link part, and let's probably start with this. Okay, I'll just try to give you an overview, and let's see how the things are. Okay, so this is the screen. Okay, the lag, anything like that, anything is an issue? Yes, no, everything is fine, right? My voice, audio, screen. Yes, correct,
Yes.
correct. Thank you, Sham.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yes,
this
yes,
is the
yes.
app. Yes, this is the app, guys. This is the app. This is the home screen. Okay, technically, this is simple, very simple CRUD operations. Okay, this front end is made in React. I can see all the products that I'm having. Okay, these are the 2 products that I'm having. Okay, I can add any product. Let me add any product. Maybe the name. This is the bookstore app kind of thing. Just checking whether the books are available or not. Okay, so basically the name of the book could be Jungle Book. I'm not sure who is the author. Very bad with books. I'm anybody Jungle Book author. Mowgli is not the author, guys. Mowgli is not the author. Okay. Maybe J.K. Rowling. Maybe Shahid Rudyard Kipling. Yes, yes, yes. Nice audience. Description: interesting book. Price is maybe 300. Image. So any image, right? So maybe Jungle Book image. Actually, I think Jungle Book was a movie, right? Copy image address. This is the image part. Paste available. Yes. Add, right. Right. So this is how you're adding the books, right? Simple. You want to add more books, they will keep on coming here and there. You want to update the book, you can update that. The price is not 300, it's 3000. Very costly book. Update book, right? So this price has been updated, right? And these are the book section. Technically, this is the home page. This simple, very simple, right? And so we are using MongoDB as a backend part. Okay, the MongoDB is actually being used as a backend part. And yeah, okay, so that is the idea. And delete, you can also delete this. Okay, you can delete this particular thing, and you will see that in the home screen that's get deleted. So that is gone. So these are the basic operations that we'll be performing: create, read, update, and delete, right? CRUD operations basically, and this is important for every particular React app you make. I'll just join from the phone as well, so that I'm able to see your chat section also. I'll just join from the phone as well. Just 1 second. Okay. So before we really start with this, Okay, I'll just try to give you a quick theory, not very much theory, but yes. But really, what? So I'll ask you guys. So what we really say that yes, we always talk about the merge stack thing. I'll use the whiteboard. Okay, available got unchecked. Not sure, Sham. Not sure. Yes, available is unchecked here. Well, technically, we haven't done something of the available part. The available part I'll try to give you as your homework types. Okay. So I will give you that homework. That is why that available box is kept there. Okay. So yeah. All right. Yes, we'll be working on the VS Code, correct? Okay. So let's me just talk about the little bit about this. So why a lot of people are joining timely. Okay. Okay. So just one thing. Okay. So I just join from the phone so that I can just one second. And this is 2 times a day. Okay. एक second. Just 1 second, guys. Okay, so what is the use of the MongoDB Express, Node, and React? What are they used for? Can you guys quickly tell me what are the uses of this MongoDB Express, Node, and React? इनके uses क्या होते हैं? क्या काम क्या आते हैं? Yes, merge stack is good. That is good. MongoDB. मतलब what are they actually used for? What is the tasks? MongoDB database. Good. I mean that is fine. Specifically, what is each of them actually doing? What is Node doing? What does the Node actually do? I'm not sure why this is not. Just 1 second. Node.js is used for the serving backend. Okay, sounds good. Okay, yes, Node.js is React is used. Okay, front end. What is Express used for? So Merge stack stands for MongoDB Express, React, and a Node. Okay, E stands for Express. That is correct. React is used for front end part, single page. Okay, Node is built between back and front end. Okay, sounds good. And okay, that's fine. So I think that I think yeah, this is eco. Just 1 second. It seems fine. Okay, so I think we are good to start with probably, and let's start with this. So the first thing, let's quickly start with this word. Okay, so we were discussing, correct? So merge stack is consisting of 4 things. Okay, so merge stack is consisting of 4 things. M stands for the MongoDB. Okay, M stands for the MongoDB. M stands for the MongoDB. MongoDB is simply a database, and it's a NoSQL database. Okay, so it's a NoSQL database, and we'll discuss what is the NoSQL database as and when we continue about the MongoDB. Okay, the next thing that we're having is the Express part. Okay, Express, MER. R stands for the React. React, everybody knows this is the front end part. Okay, front end part. It's managing the front end part. That's what React is used for. Node is basically a server. Okay, Node is basically a server, and it is used to. Node is actually used um, to run the JavaScript outside the browser. Okay, So actually JavaScript is and only used to run inside the browser part generally. Okay. JavaScript is used to run inside the browser. Okay. Whatever the JavaScript is there, that runs inside the browser, correct? But what is Node used for? Node is actually used for so that it can really try to run outside the browser also, right? That outside the browser part, in case you want to run the JavaScript, okay, that is what Node is really used for. Okay, Node is kind of providing a server that is, and what is Express? Express is actually a framework. Okay, Express is a framework that is helping us in communication. More or like it's setting up the communication, setting up the communication for API calls. Technically, this is exact what is Express used for. Matlab, it is providing us a communication. It's a framework that is helping us to communicate for the communication between the server, okay, between the server part, that what is the server, and the database, right? Matlab, this is actually connecting, Express is actually connecting MongoDB and Node.js. एक server की तरह काम करता है. That is what okay. So Node is provider. Okay, so JavaScript. Okay, I'll tell you JavaScript. Okay, JavaScript is actually a browser-based language only, right? So JavaScript का compiler है. JavaScript का compiler simply. Like we have this compiler, right? So JavaScript का compiler is where JavaScript could run. That compiler is Node.js. Okay. The compiler for JavaScript is actually Node.js. That is what we really mean by Node.js. Okay, that where JavaScript files can run, that is the place where we really see that yes, this is what we really mean by Node.js. Okay, that is the idea. So okay, now let's quickly jump to the app part. Let's quickly jump to the app part. So for this project part specifically, for this project, this is the project. I'll just try to create a new project, new window, and we will create a project, new folder. Let's keep in documents. The new folder is books, Cuvette bookstore. Cuvette. Okay. Okay. So there will be a lot of things. Okay. Please try to, try to understand more of this. Okay. Try to understand more of this, and we'll try to give you the codes will be provided to you. Okay. Because a lot of things I'll try to use some pre-built codes. So we'll try to provide you the codes part. The code is something that you can always get on. Okay. So let's start with this. So I'll use the terminal part. Okay. And I'll make a folder backend. Okay. The first of all, we'll be making the backend part. Right. We'll be making the backend part. Okay. So CD backend. Yeah. Anybody want to say something? You can. Yeah.
So sorry for the interruption. Can you zoom in a little bit, please?
Can I zoom it a little bit? Yeah, sure.
Yes.
Okay. Sounds good.
Yes, sir.
Cool. Okay. So so this is the backend part. Okay. The first thing that we'll be installing is npm nodemon. Okay. Npm install. Okay. Npm is a command. You need to install npm. Okay. So the first thing that will be no, Ananya, you don't need to code along. Try to understand the concept more. Okay. You don't really need to code along. So you can just understand the concept. Try to understand how the things are working. What is the general framework? In what general way we can use that part, right? So I think you don't need to code it along. Okay. So probably you can skip that coding part. Okay. Okay. So let's start with this. Okay. So let's start with this. npm install nodemon. This is installed, and the next thing that we'll be doing is that yes, it is. So what is it automatically doing? Nodemon is used for, okay, what is the use of the nodemon? Nodemon is actually helping us to, so nodemon is actually helping us to, okay. So what is the nodemon use? The nodemon is actually used to so that auto we don't need to restart the server. Okay. So nodemon is a kind of thing that is automatically restarts the server, right? It auto restarts the server. Okay, auto restarts the server. That it is automatically restarting the server part, and we don't need to restart it again and again as we change something. right? So as we change something, we automatically restarts the server. That is what node1 is used for. So I'll be simply installing the node1, correct? So let's simply, the node1 is installed, and I will be initializing the package. That is npm init. Okay. Package name is backend, correct? Version 1.1, description nothing. Entry point is app.js. Okay, app.js is the entry point, nothing, nothing, nothing. And yeah, you can write all these values, but not required. Okay. So this is, so we will see this. So this has been created. We have initialized node.mon. Yes, the name is node.mon. Sounds like Doraemon, I know, but it is node.mon. Okay.
Excuse me, sir,
This
your
is a
voice is breaking.
Your voice is not audible. Hello? 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 Your voice is not audible.
Second, second. No, it's better. It's no. No, still breaking, sir.
No, 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 not audible.
Just 1 second. Just give me a second to try to change that word. Hello. Now guys, it's better. अब सही है?
Yes, sir.
Yes, it's better.
Yeah,
Cool.
it's better now.
Sorry. Actually that I tried to change the network. थोड़ा सा time लग गया. Wi-Fi यहाँ पर ना थोड़ा issue है. Okay, I think now that will not be an issue. Now we'll go smoothly. Okay, so let's start with the session then. Let's start it smoothly. So now the first very important thing that I was discussing about. So npm, after npm init nothing. Okay, after npm init nothing, and this everything was continuing after that only. That is normal. Okay, that's just npm init enter. Only the one thing, guys, please don't try to do it alongside. Okay, don't try to do it alongside. I mean, because some of the things I try to use pre-built, and if you get stuck, then you will focus more on writing your code and not on learning part. I want you guys to focus more on the learning part. So okay, so please, so the basic app is app.js. Okay, the next app we are having is app.js. App.js. Okay, this is not a part of the backend, or is it? App.js should be the part of the backend part. And delete this. Okay. The app in the backend part, we should have something called as app.js, right? Okay, so this is the app.js, the backend part. In the app.js, guys, in the app.js, this is where we'll be writing the first code. This is something like the start code. This is where every starting code will be coming. So what all things we'll be writing? Okay, so apart from this, I need something express, and I also need mongoose, right? So second things I need in second things I need is that. इसके अलावा मुझे क्या क्या चीजें चाहिए? The second thing I need is that I need as mongoose. Okay, so mongoose is like, it is actually using for connecting the database, right? This is using for connecting the database. That is what mongoose is used for. And third thing that you could figure out is used express. Okay, express. These are the libraries, right? These are the libraries that I need to install. These are simpler libraries that I'm installing. Mongoose, express, and I think abhi ke liye itni kafi hai. Right? So these are the more than enough. And what was NodeMon doing? Okay, NodeMon was simply responsible for. Okay, NodeMon was simply responsible that NodeMon will try to. Why guys? Please try to join on time. Don't time and again come that. Okay. Yes, notes will be given. Okay, notes will be given, and they will also be provided. The code will also be provided. Okay. So NodeMon क्या करता है? देखो guys, NodeMon क्या करता है? NodeMon was simply responsible to restart the server. Okay, it was simply trying to restart the server part. If any changes are there, okay, if any changes are required, if any changes are made, we need to simply restart the server. That is what NodeMon is doing. Mongoose is used to connect to the database. This is simply used to connect to the database. And Express is also a framework that we'll be using that will help us with the API calls. That will simply help us with the API calls. With the API call. That is what the idea of Express is that, right? Mongoose is used to connect with the database. Express is used with the API calling part. Okay. And right. Okay. You can install NodeMon globally. That is not a very big issue. You can do it anyway. Okay. So now try to understand this. Okay. Now try to understand the next thing. Okay. I will just simply quickly install them. npm install Express. Yeah, Express. So backend is what? Okay. Backend is simply, if I tell you, backend is just about connecting the APIs. What do we really mean by backend? Backend is simply responsible for. So there is this server. Okay, there is a server, and this server is actually simply connecting the APIs at different ports. For example, okay, for example, everything is at this particular thing /books at this URL, right? At this URL, I am doing this. At this URL, I am doing that. So all these things are actually done by the backend. Right? Ki data में से whatever the things are there. For example, let's try to understand. Do you guys know what is API? What do we really mean by API? API क्या होती है? But very important question. What is simply an API? Yes. What is an API? Guys, API होती क्या है? Full form नहीं पूछी. मैं full form नहीं पूछी. It's not a full form, right? Right. So it is actually right. It stands for Application Program Interface. API stands for that. Yes, API is an application program interface. Application programming interface. That is what API is used for. And what is the task? Okay, it is basically it is used to. It's a communication form, right? That whatever the database is there, this is the database. Okay, this is what my database is. This is the MongoDB database, and this is my server. Okay, this is my server. A communication between the database and the server. These things are done with the help of APIs, right? So a communication between the database. So this is the database, and this is the server. So API is actually a communication platform, right? API is basically a communication platform that, yes, in order to communicate between the database, and the server part, database और server को बीच में communicate करने के लिए, and this is a communication platform, and API is in the form of a URL. API is in the form of URL, okay. ठीक है. Communication का क्या मतलब होता है? URL मतलब URL is something that this is a URL, right? Whiteboard.com is a URL. So communication means what? By communication we really mean sending and receiving of data, right? Sending and receiving of data is what we really mean by communication.
Request mapping.
Sorry?
Request mapping.
Did not get that. कुछ कह रहे हो? Yeah, okay. Yeah, please guys don't, in case you're having doubt, feel free to unmute, but in case not having a doubt, please feel free to please mute. Okay, so API is actually a form of a URL. Okay, in this URL, now try to understand this. Okay, now try to understand this. We will be making the URLs, right? We will be making the APIs. Okay, we will be making different APIs. We will make the different APIs. Okay, so first of all, what is the first thing that we need to do? The first thing that we need to do is that we need to connect to the database, right? We need to connect to the database. That is the first thing. Connect to the database. Okay, I will connect to the database. That is a Mongo's database. MongoDB is the website. MongoDB, which is the website. You go on this MongoDB, you sign in. Okay, simple Google sign in. Okay, पहले हम लोग जो remote database है. So first of all, we are using MongoDB, right? So this is the data. If this is the database, okay, whatever the database, however you design this, if this is the actual database part, we are using the MongoDB. Okay, MongoDB is providing us a platform to host this database, right? Okay, so this is what database is used for. Now try to understand. I'll be logging in Google. Simple, and yeah. Okay, so this is the database part. Okay, this is the database. We need to create a database. This will get installed. Okay, we need to actually create the database. And how we'll be creating it? Simply new database. Okay, we'll be creating this new database. यहाँ पर book store पे जाके new database, new project. Okay, click on new project. And okay, project name is Cuvette bookstore. Anything, right? Bookstore Manchang. Right, next. Project on a create project. So this will automatically create the project. Okay. So after this is created, we go to the network SS. Okay, network SS, add IP address. Okay,
allow access from anywhere. Okay, allow the access from anywhere, confirm. Okay. So what are things we have done? We have created the database. Okay, we have created the database from their new project. Okay, we have created that new project is there. Okay, we created the new project, name the project, and uska jo network access tha, whatever the network access was there, that network access we have given this, right? It could be accessed from anywhere. Now we'll be creating the database part. Okay, add new database user. Okay, we need to add a database user for that. Okay, so the username is admin. Okay, it is admin, and enter password is maybe Cuvette. So this is the password that I kept, simply QUVETTE. Okay, copy. Okay, add user. So a user has been added. A user can actually interact with this database, right? So what is the user doing? The user is able to interact with the database part. Okay. So two things. Network assessment is add kar diya, that it could be assessed from anywhere. Okay. And second thing that I've done is that yes, network access is one thing, and second thing is what the database is. Ki database किस के पास होना चाहिए. That is the second thing that I've done. Okay. So now try to understand this. Now try to understand the next thing, that after this we need to do what? Okay, we need to connect our local app.js. Okay, we need to connect our local app.js with this thing. Okay, और वो connect कैसे होगी? How will that thing will be connected? First of all, whatever things I really require, I will simply use that things. Okay, whatever things I require, I'll simply use that things that I require. For example, मुझे क्या क्या चाहिए? I require that express. Okay, I'll require that express. This is a standard syntax. Okay, काफी सारे syntax आपको एक बार समझ नहीं आएगा, but अभी के लिए just simply try to understand this कि ऐसा होता है. Okay, slowly and gradually, by the end of these things will start making sense. I have installed Mongoose, right? And I haven't npm install Mongoose. Mongoose, right? Okay, so we are installing the Mongoose part also. The Mongoose installed, constant Mongoose, that is equal to require Mongoose, right? Right, so we have required the Mongoose part, correct? And what we'll be doing, we'll be making an object of this one, const app equals to express का object. Okay. After the app is made, what we'll be doing? Okay, we'll be simply trying to do mongoose.connect, and mongoose.connect. It simply connect with this. Okay. And connect में आएगा ये. And then we'll be having in this here we need to pass the URL. Here it is a string URL that will actually help me connect with this, right? Now I'm simply passing here the URL that will help me connect with this. Okay, how to connect with this? Database. Okay, database. Build a database. You not build a database. Okay, let database. Build a database. Create, free, of course free. We are Indians. And everything you can skip this. Create cluster. Okay. Username, password, everything you can skip this. Okay. You can finish and close. Go to database, right? This will take some time. Just 1-2 seconds. Okay, so we are actually creating a database. So MongoDBs. Do you guys? How many of you guys know difference between a MongoDB and an SQL? What is the difference between them? What is the
One
difference?
is relational database and other is non. It is not a relational database. No SQL database. It is MongoDB.
What non-relation means? क्या मतलब होता है?
So the data is not stored in the table format in this. It is a random, generation of data or keeping of data. I think so.
So the data is stored in collection.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yes, like we can store the data in tuple in relational databases, and for storing data in NoSQL, we just pass a JSON and through JSON it stores that data in our databases of Mongo.
Okay. Yes, I think almost people are correct. And that is, well, there are a lot more differences, but I think for now they are fine. Okay, so that is not a very structured database. Okay, we can define the way in which we want to define our structure. Okay, that whatever structure is there, and that structure is defined with the help of models. Okay, structure is defined, whatever the structure that you see, कि मुझे structure define करना पड़ेगा, कुछ fixed structure नहीं. There's no very tabled format, right? Anything can have as many columns you want, right? So there is no hard and fast on that. Okay, they can have as many columns and everything. So what is every project? Okay, every project is having three things. It is the MVC architecture. Every project follows the MVC architecture. हर project का MVC architecture होता है. Okay, so MVC architecture stands for model. Okay, model, view. This is the view part maybe, and third part is the controllers. Okay, MVC architecture, model, view, controller, and this is so. What does the MVC architecture do? This is the user part of MVC user. This is what the user sees. Okay, user sees, and user sees and the user controls this. Okay, there are some controllers. Model is kind of the backend part. Okay, model is the backend part, and controller modifies the backend. Okay, controller actually modifies the backend, and backend updates the UI. Okay, backend actually updates the UI. जो भी UI है, that is what is updated. That right? The backend is updated. Backend actually updates the UI. This view part is made with the help of React. Okay, this view part is made with the help of React, and so user is basically trying to see that you are actually playing a game. Try to understand that you're trying to play a game. While you're playing a game, you can see on the screen what is going on, and accordingly move the controllers part. Right, you are racing or you are going slow, something of that sort. Right. Okay. So yes. Okay. So now try to understand this. Okay, now try to understand this, that we are connecting with the mongoose. I hope by now this has been established. So this has been established. Okay, connect your application. This is the link. Okay, just copy paste this and paste it here. Okay, copy paste this and paste it here. And यहाँ पर एक चीज और करनी पड़ेगी. What is the one thing that we need to do here? That is, we need to change the password also, right? We need to change the password. That here the password should come. यहाँ पर जो मैंने password रखा है, they're telling that replace the password with the password for the admin user. Okay, what is the password that I've kept? The password I've kept is Cuvette. Okay, तो मैंने उसको connect कर लिया. And this is a promise. Okay, this thing is a promise. Little bit of JavaScript stuff. Okay, this thing is a promise. So what is this doing? Then we have to use dot then notations. Okay, and they will come definitely in brackets. Sorry, they will come in string. This is string format. Okay, so this is string format, and then we'll have dot then. Okay, इसके बाद क्या होगा? What is dot then? And that is also a promise. And what we will be having, console.log connected to a database. And otherwise we can also have dot then. Then we can also have another promise, that is that we'll be start listening to this code. Okay, we'll start listening to this code, and that is app.listen. Okay, listen on this port 5000. Okay, थोड़ा सा standard syntax. This is like a standard syntax, and then we will also have the catch error dot catch, and catch is used for error. Okay, catch is used for the error part. In case there is an error, okay, in case there is an error. So these all are promises, right? This is syntax. Okay, console.log and the error part, right? Okay. Any other problem along the reference? unable to load the reference. कहाँ पर है line number? Okay. एक we need to write here this also, that the script for start is equals to script for start is node mon app.js. Okay, so let's probably see this and if it is working. Okay, ये काम कर रहा है नहीं कर रहा, let's see this. So now try to understand. Promises are used to handle yes, price, yes. So the promises are good. Promise क्या है? Okay, promises are kind of JavaScript things. Okay, promises are simply JavaScript things, and yeah, and they're simply used to. This is like a promise that until this something is covered. Okay. For example, I'll try to explain you promise in some time. Okay, I'll try to explain you some promise in some time. Don't worry, promise समझा दूंगा मैं. And okay. Yes, npm. So now we'll be trying to see what is the terminal thing. The terminal, let's see the terminal. And yeah. So now we are having in the backend part, CD backend. And yeah, okay. So let's run this. Okay, so we'll be running npm start. npm start. So it shows that whether we have been connected or no, we have not been connected. Kuch error aa raha hai, error on the server instance. What is error? So we're already on the 5000. Actually, I have already been running that, so I'll just stop these. Just simply erase them. Okay, now this is fine. Now we'll start this npm start. Now this is fine. Now let's check this again. So yes, so we have successfully connected to the database. Okay, so we have successfully connected to the database. That is how now my NodeJs server, whatever the NodeJs server was there, that is successfully connected itself to the database. Okay, that is successfully connected to itself to the database. Now guys, now try to understand the very important architecture that I'm going to discuss with you guys. Okay, now please understand the important architecture that I'm going to discuss, and that is how will the things be there. Okay, how will the things be there, and for them we have this controller. Okay, so we have this controllers. So एक चीज होती है इसमें controllers, and this is the structure that you need to make always, no matter what all things you're having. All the controllers part. Okay, what else? I will have another folder that is the views part is something that that JavaScript will that the React part will take care. Okay, apart from that.
Hello, sorry to interrupt.
Yes.
The audio video got stuck for some time, so can you please repeat what you just said 2 minutes ago?
Okay. Sorry.
Yes, from controllers.
Correct. Okay. So what we are trying to discuss. So this is I'm trying to tell about the general framework. Okay. This is I'm trying to tell about the general framework that yes, this is the general framework, and the general framework is doing what? Okay, that every particular MERN project. Okay, every MERN project will have three things, right? Model, controller, and views, right? Model and controller, and so technically there is this router also. Okay, router is also there. The router contains a list of links. Okay, list of routes, or these are also called APIs. Okay, router will actually contain that yes, these are the list of routes, these are the list of APIs. Okay, controller will actually contain the implementation of the APIs. Controller will actually contain the implementation of the API. Okay, that yes, controller will actually contain the implementation of the API. That is what the controller is doing. Okay, and what is the model doing? Model is telling about what is the structure. What is my structure of the books? Okay, जो मैंने book वो बनाया है, whatever the database book I am creating, उसका structure क्या होगा? And this is true for almost all the MERN projects, right? For all the MERN projects that you are making, that you will make in your life, this is the standard structure that you need to follow. Okay. Okay. So now let's try to go in this. Okay. So what am I simply doing? I have created the controllers books.controller, nothing, just simply folder creation I've done. Now the next thing I will be doing, is the models part also. Okay. We'll be creating that models part. And one thing let's create before that. The second thing we can also create is the routes. Okay. That should be inside the backend. That should be the routes. Okay. Those routes बनाएंगे. Okay. And inside the books, they could have multiple routes, right? So these are the folders that should have. And this should be routes, books routes, right? Book routes. जो book के routes हैं, वो book के routes हो सकते हैं. Book-routes.js. Okay, all of these are JavaScript files. And what else is left? The next thing that is left is the model part, simple, right? And let's do the model part also. Okay. And these structure, guys, try to understand, these structures are something that you will always have in your code. This is how you will always make the code. Okay. This is how it will look like. Book.js. So this is the structure that I will be following in my model.js. Right? In the model structure, this is the structure that I need to follow. Okay. So let's first quickly make the model. So I am having the mongoose. Okay. Control Z, mongoose. That is required mongoose. Okay, मैंने mongoose को import कर दिया. That is the mongoose I need. Now I will be making a schema. Okay. To some extent, I am not sure you guys are clear of the schema part or not. Schema is basic structure. Okay. Don't worry, Ritvik. I'll try to give you the terminal codes. Okay. I'll try to give you a list of the terminal codes that you need to follow. Okay, don't worry that. Okay. Okay. Cool. So schema is what the structure that will be looking like. Okay, we'll be discussing about the schema part. But yes, this is the schema, and the schema I'll be having mongoose.schema. So it's a mongoose inbuilt features in. Okay, so this is the schema. So schema will have the properties. Okay, so we'll be making a book schema. Okay, but yes, mongoose make the book schema, and mongoose will make the new schema. Schema. Spelling is SCH. Okay, and mongoose will make the schema. And okay, so now try to understand this. This is to be ended by semicolon. And inside this, what all parameters we need to have, right? The name is one of the parameters. Okay, name one of the parameters, and the name is of type string. Okay, name is of type string. उसमें जो भी मेरे को database define करना है, and this is required is the parameter. That this is required, and that is true. Okay, that yes, the name is required, true. What else we have apart from name? We can have the author. Author is there. Then we can have description, price, and available. And what was one more thing? क्या क्या चीजें थी? Price, available, and the image part, right? Image part. Okay. Let's just quickly do this. So for first thing was the name. Second thing was the author. Who is the author of this? It's also type string required true. Okay. What we can have next is the description part. What should be description? Description, and commas. They should have the commas part. Descriptions are also type string. Name is true. Then we can have price. Price is an integer. Right? Price is actually an integer. And price is a number actually. So in JavaScript we have numbers. The price is a number and required true. And price ke ilawa, what next we have? The next thing that we have is available. Okay. The next thing that we are having is available. Whether it's available, and that is of type boolean. That whether it is available or not, right? And what next? Image. Image will be having the image URL. Okay. The next thing will be having the image, and image is also required. And maybe we can available. We can try to remove that required part so that we can have a variety. Okay. I'll just share this code alongside, okay, so that you can even keep a look at that. And you can also, maybe in case you want to run it alongside, you can run that also, that's fine. But I would not recommend you guys, okay? And how we need to, and everything that we do, everything we write it. I'm not sure if you guys have seen this, and some of you guys might have seen this in React part also. ठीक है? हम लोग करते क्या है? हम लोग actually क्या करते हैं? Everything that we write in these JavaScript files, everything that we're actually writing in the JavaScript files, we need to always export this at the end part, right? We need to always export these things at the end. Why are we exporting this? We're exporting this so that others can import it, right? Others can import it. Others can use this, okay? So this is what basically, so we are writing different files. The model.js is consisting of a file part, right? And we're exporting this, okay? We are simply exporting this file so that others can use this, okay? That is the idea, okay? And this is something that we always do in whether we are doing in React or any other stuff, right? So I will be simply writing module.exports, okay? Module.exports karna hai, mongoose, and mongoose.module and what is the name of the schema? The name of the that is the book.js, and the schema that I'm importing is a book schema, right? Okay. Syntax part है थोड़ा सा ना, standard syntax part. सही लग रहा है? No errors, correct. I'll just share with you guys the code part also. You can have a look, and in case any particular, so we'll be using a Google Doc. Okay, we'll be using a Google Doc online, and this is the code for what to say. One second, right? This is what I'm doing model.js. Model.js, right? So this is the code, and I'll share with you guys this so that you can please have a look. I mean, and I'll try to update. I'll try to keep on updating this time and again, and so that you can ask doubts that ki ye wala part nahi clear hua, this is not clear, right? Something of that sort.
Excuse me. Sir, can
Yes.
you please repeat what controllers do?
Can I repeat what?
Controllers.
Controllers are okay. Controllers are what? Controllers are simply controllers is something that where we'll be writing the code. Okay, where we'll be writing the actual code. Okay. For example, what is the handle the request flow? Yes, right. It is actually handling the request flow. What does that really means? Controllers are actually writing the code part, right? Writing the logic. For example, I am writing something get books. Get books is something that I'm writing, right? So get books mein kaise, what is the code that I will be writing? This code I'll be writing in controllers. We'll be seeing the controllers part just soon. ठीक है? तो APIs के बारे में, APIs की जो implementation है कि get books में क्या होगा, /get में क्या होगा, /book में क्या होगा, right? So all these implementations will actually come under the section controllers, right? That this controller will contain what all stuff. That we really mean by handles request flow. Yes, good, right, correct. That is the use case of the controllers part, correct? Okay. Clear? जो भी पूछा था सर संदेश. Sure. Okay. Yes, sir. Okay, cool. So so this is about it. Okay, so let's try to write about the routes also. We'll be discussing about the routes and book routes. Okay. So what will be writing in the routes part? What are you sharing this? I'm not able to understand this. ये क्या share कर रहे हो आप? I share the jam file with the meeting. है क्या ये jam board? By what is this moment? ये तुम्हारा पक्का ओरिजिनल नाम है? They're creating a whiteboard. उससे क्या होगा? मतलब मुझे भी इन्वॉल्व कर लो थोड़ी सी फन एक्टिविटी में. I am feeling left out. By mistakenly. 4-5 बारी.
चलो कोई बात नहीं. Yes, I'll try to keep. Okay, so they're making notes. You can create Jamboard from Gmeet itself so that it ends the census message. Okay. Cool. That's a good idea, I think. Yes. I'll try to keep it. I'll try to keep it in English only. Yes, don't worry. The language will be English itself. Allow to assess request. Okay. Cool. That's good idea. I mean, in case if I could also see the access, can you please give me the access as well, Momin? Go say Momin. Sorry.
Can you share us their post?
Sorry, Priya. थोड़ा सा sorry.
I was just thinking
Yes,
to
we
share
can't
the code
understand.
links that you're writing upon.
She's asking to share you that note you are
Board can
keeping
also
on
be given
that
access.
notebook.
That's what you're saying. You can have this. This is the notepad. So is it able to access this? This is accessible, right? This notepad is accessible? Yes, no? Don't. No. The link. Lagging, yeah, damn. Again, this is lagging. I don't know what's the issue. I've shared right away now only. Cool. Okay. Sounds good. Yes. Okay. Good. That's good. Right. So you can have the access to this whiteboard also. And that is good. Cool. Thank you. Oh, तुम लोग अच्छे से घूमते रहोगे फिर? Oh, this is pain. This is bad then. मेरी screen में मत आना. This is the boundary I'm defining. Okay. Don't come in this. अरे यार, this is bad. Okay. So now try to understand this. Okay. Try to understand this.
Well, you can hide the mouse cursor on the top right. Mouse thing is there now. Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, so this is the whiteboard and correct, sounds good. And yeah, yes, this is the link. This is a link that you can join Pritha, and you can see this whiteboard. Okay, so now the next thing is that we need to understand is this about the routes. Let's quickly complete the routes part. Okay, and in the routes part, ध्यान से समझना. Routes part is what we are simply. This is routes part is just trying to connect. Okay, what is the routes part simply doing? And this is something that it always does, right? It just keeps a record. Okay, it just keeps a record that yes, these are the things that I will be making. These are the APIs that I will actually be making. Guys, please don't write here. Right? APIs that I'm making. I know this is not very interesting thing, but your writing is also not very interesting. Okay, so please don't write here. It's a humble request. Okay, so APIs का जो link है, whatever the link of the APIs are there, the link of the APIs, whatever the APIs, what is an API? API is the endpoint actually. API is an endpoint, or basically endpoint, or you can say API is actually a URL. If I hit this URL, with the help of URL, I can communicate data. Okay, with the help of this URL, I can communicate data. That is what API is used for. Correct? With the help of this, I can actually communicate data. That is what the use of API is. So let's just quickly write it.
So API, the router part is containing, okay, the router part is, it requires express always, constant express equals to require express. Okay, हमें express लिए, express, and then we require the router. Okay, express.router, that is part of express.router. And once I've got the router part, I need to get that book part also, right? I need to get the book model. Constant book equals to require, and how will I be getting the book part? Go 2 steps back, dot slash, it goes 1 step back, sorry, router, then go to the model, okay, and then go to the book part. Okay, this is the way in how we do communicate between them. Okay, dot slash means go 2 steps back, and then what, मतलब current location से, this is telling the current location से मुझे कहाँ जाना पड़ेगा. 1 step back in the routers, from routers I go to model, and from model I go to book.js, right? That is how I jump. Okay, and what are the book controllers? I need to connect to the controllers part also. Okay, and this is, I am communicating the controllers part also. So this is basically, what are these routes doing? Routes are actually connecting the models, that these are the models part, along with the controllers. Okay, तो models और controllers को connect कर रहे हैं routes. Okay, इस particular route with these models and controllers can communicate. So this is kind of providing a link of communication between them. Okay, it's providing a link of communication between the models, that yes, this is the model, and these are the controllers, right? These are the controllers. Let's try writing some endpoints of the controllers. First of all, I'll be writing I'll be asking the controller part also, that is the books controllers, controller, is equal to require. I need to get the books part. कैसे पहुंचूंगा मैं controller.js से, guys? Can you help me with this? I need to reach to the controller.js. What is the piece of thing I'll be writing here? Yes, guys. क्या लिखूंगा मैं यहाँ पर? That address part. What exactly I'll be writing? Yes, chat section. I need to reach at this controller.js, right? मैं यहाँ पर हूँ. Books.routes. मैं कैसे लिखूंगा मैं? What is the piece of code I'll be writing? Yes. Freeze most of the time. I'll just try changing the network again. That's the best thing I can do for me. Let's just check the internet speed in that case.
Actually, controller we can implement the REST APIs and endpoints, HTTP methods get burst.
Right.
And also service also you can implement the business logic, and repository can interact with the database.
True. I mean, that depends on
Yeah, it's a Java,
how
Spring Boot.
it's going very slow, but not sure. But it's fine for the Google Meet maybe. I'll try to change the network again, but let's see. इसका कुछ ना कुछ करते हैं यार, कुछ ना कुछ, अगर अब हुआ तो बताना. I'll try to do something else. Okay. Yes. So back to this. How will I be doing dot slash controllers and slash books.controller, right? Okay. So this is where I now let's write कि मुझे क्या क्या whatever the links router dot get, okay, at this URL, at normal URL, I need to have the book controller dot get all books, okay, get all books, okay. And so this is the first route that I have written. In the controller part, what I will be doing in the controller part, let's just quickly write the code of the controllers part also.
I will also export this router so that it can be used by others. That is module.export. Module.export equals to router. Okay, module.export equals to router. And in the controllers part, I will be writing what piece of code? The same piece of code that I was writing. Okay, that we need to require that book module constant book equals to require, and since that is what is the link that I need to require. Okay, what is the link that I really need to require? That is double slash dot from model and then slash book, right? So constant book I require, and these are the functions. Okay, these are the functions. Please try to focus here. Very important thing. Okay, it's very important. This is the syntax. This is the way I'll be writing the code. I want everybody to try focusing here. Okay, so that is the constant get all books. Constant get all books is a function. Okay, it is an async. Okay, it is an async. I'll tell you about the meaning of the async. It can have three parameters. That is a request. What is the request coming? What is the response that I need to send? And what is the next thing? Next, where I need to send it to the next particular thing, right? Three important parameters. What is the request coming? What is the response? Okay, and what is where I need to send it next? So, for example, what do I really mean by this? That if it was a login page and it has successfully authenticated, he should go to the next home page. So next could be home page type of thing, something of that sort. Okay, and this is a promise. Okay, this is a very standard syntax of writing this. Okay, and I need to get books, right? I need to get books. So I will be writing let books. Okay, so try, it will be in a try catch block. Okay, books equals to await book dot find. Okay, now try to understand here. Okay, try to understand there. I'm not sure how why am I not able to get this epic pen here. Right. Adding more routes, so you'll be clear with the route part also. And, okay. Not sure how will I be able to write this on the pen, but okay. Okay, that anyways. Okay, so try to focus. What is this async and await doing? Okay, so this will wait. Okay, so actually from the database, it will not happen that all the books will come at this very moment only, right? All the books will not come at this very moment only. So async and await are doing that wait. So dot find is an inbuilt function of Mongoose. Okay, this is the inbuilt function. Inbuilt function, that is dot find. Okay, that in this schema, try to find out all the books and wait until that point. Okay, wait until that point and then okay, got it. Then catch log log control log and error in case that error is there. If books are null, if the books are, we need to return. Okay, if there are no books, okay, we need to
Sir, your
return
voice is
response from,
breaking a lot.
अरे यार ये voice की बड़ी दिक्कत आ रही है. Not audible, not audible. I'll provide the recording part definitely. अरे यार voice is
Now you are
cracking,
audible.
breaking.
Now you are audible.
बीच में हो जाता है ना, बीच में bad. Okay. When screen quality is bad. Okay. When screen quality is clear. Yes, okay, no clear. Please to take mute yourself. Please to take mute yourself. Can you start? Can you start?
No, it's fine. Probably I'll start that. And- Okay. Yes. Okay. So what we were doing in the routes part, guys, I'm really sorry why this is happening. So what we were doing in the routes part were actually simply helping to create a connection. Okay. Routes part was actually helping us to create a connection between the model, whatever is the model is there, and the between the model and yes, Windows laptop is good. Yeah. Okay. I'll jump to the laptop maybe then. So and model not saying yeah, damn. One second, Sham. I'm not speaking anything. Whiteboard is a problem. Maybe we can use a lighter whiteboard, something that this is what you want to say. That use a lighter whiteboard type of thing. That we can go ahead with a lighter whiteboard, maybe. Any idea? Anybody's having an idea of any lighter whiteboard types thing? Microsoft whiteboard. This is where to sign in and all that stuff. Anybody else? Anybody else idea? Tutorials. Jamboard by Google. Okay, but the problem is that that's not infinitely scrollable, right? That's a problem. Okay. Okay. So we'll see. I'll try to figure out something of the internet and something. I think you should take 5 minutes. Actually, these are the two best networks I have. I can try with the Wi-Fi types and with the hotspot also. If you guys think I can try with hotspot. So which of them? 302, right?
Yes, I have tried to switch to the best network possible. Let's hope for the best. And let me know in case this is still suffering. I'll try to get a good internet connection soon. All right, guys. सही लग रहा है नहीं लग रहा? I think it's fine, right? Yes. Okay, it's fine. Cool. So I'm really sorry I'm not sure why this is happening today. Okay, but yes, it's fine. Okay, so we are back to this. Okay, let's try with the whiteboard only in case, then that case. So what were the routes doing? Okay, so routes, the task of the routes was that it is actually trying to communicate. Okay, the routes are really trying to communicate between the rights are trying to communicate that yes, these are the routes between the models and the controllers. Okay, so controllers is where all the logic is written. That what will happen of the request and response. The request आएगी, response आएगा. As in when you will be writing all the four things, okay, you will be getting idea of this. Okay, you'll be getting more idea of this. And routes is just that at this particular URL, okay, this particular URL, this controller, it's like, yeah, this is kind of an address book. Routes is like an address book. Okay, routes is like an address book that do this, do that, something of that sort, right? Okay, इस particular link पे, at this particular address, at this URL, okay, at this URL, this is the controller that is working. This is the controller that is working, that is at this particular URL. This, please guys, don't do the designing part. I know you are good at drawing. Please don't do it here. Okay. Okay, so at this URL, this is the controller that should have. That is the idea of the routes. Okay. So like this way, we have got the books. Okay. Now try to understand this. That I was writing the controllers, and if the books were not null, if the books were null, then that is, I'll be sending a status. Okay, send a status 404 and the JSON format, and the message that you need to send is, okay, message that you need to send is that no products found. Simple, right? No products found. And in otherwise, else part, you can return a response dot status 404 is 404, error 404, right? Not found. Otherwise, you could send a create 202 or 200 actually. So this is 200 dot JSON. And what is the JSON part? You can simply print the books, right? Whatever the books that you've got. Okay. This is the idea. Let's try to see this. Okay, in order to check these things, we can always use something called as postman. Okay, 200 is okay types. Yes, we can use postman. Okay, so link URL क्या है 5000 and then slash. मतलब at nothing. Let's see this. It's a get request. Okay, this is, and this information I have written in routes, right? This information I have written in routes. Get information. I'm getting some information, right? And I will also be exporting this from the controllers. Okay, I'll be exporting this from the controllers part also. So I will simply write it, and that exports get all books also, right? Export get all books. Simply export that get all books equals to this function get all books. And it should export back also, right? And that is what I'm doing. Okay, so now let's try this. Okay, let's try this. And this is the postman. Okay, this is postman. Postman is something that you can install. Postman is also actually helping us check the API calls. The use of postman is कि जो मैंने चीजें कर रखी हैं, इनको check करने के लिए, that is what postman is used for. Send a request. See. So status 404 not found. Cannot get. There is some error. You can check it at postman also, or you can also check it at you did not save one file, or you can also check it straight away at you can also check it straight away at this also, right? HTTP localhost and 5000, right? Yeah. http/localhost semicolon 5000. http/localhost/5000. Right. So it is cannot get something is an issue. So it is not showing us get operations not working. Not sure why that's not working. And that is probably the issue might be. Anybody guys able to figure out what is the issue? Node app.js is fine.
I have a question. Can we debug in this system on like Flask and Django while calling the APIs?
Can we?
Means as we use like whenever we are testing through Postman in Flask, what we do is like debug the Flask app like that. Can we debug
We
there
can,
also?
we can do this in console. Server responded with a error 404 not found. That means actually the books are not currently. I don't think so. There are any books. So maybe that is why it's throwing an error. That yes, it is, but it should have thrown an empty error, right? But okay, so we'll just see that. Okay, we'll just see that one once.
Excuse me, the books route is not saved.
The books route is not saved. Still not found, not same error. Get slash module dot explode router. Okay. The module get slash is not working. Get all books, it's not working, right? And books controller, the get all function is not working. Let's see this. I'm not able to figure out why this is an issue. We'll figure out soon. Okay, let's just try to add a book then maybe. I think that will be fine.
Sir, we have to mount the router on app.js
Yes,
application.
index.js. We have to mount the router that books. नहीं, that is in the React part. नहीं. इसमें नहीं करना होता. React में करना होता वो browser router पे.
Yeah, first run the program and next we can check the Postman.
The program is running only.
App.js is not aware of any route.
App.js को क्या हो गया?
App.js is not aware of any route.
Books route saved. Books route saved. App.js में समझा नहीं मैं. Still not found.
Excuse me, sir. I think maybe we need to use app.js.
I think maybe this is because the books array is empty. That is the issue. The books array is empty, so that is why the books array is actually containing anything. So maybe that's why. Let's just write one more function. The add book function. Okay. So let's write the add. Guys, please mute it. Okay. So in the add book function, the add book function is also something that I'll be writing very similar. Okay, I'll be writing it constant add book, right? The add book function I'll be writing. Would you guys try? I mean, do you guys want to try this? How will be writing this? Or should I go? I think I can go with one more, and then you can probably go with this, right? Okay. So that is probably. I think it will be slash books something. Just 1 second. There's something I'm missing, right? In the app.js, I should also have the router.
There is like app.use and then route name and the controller file.
Just one second.
Yes, that was I was saying. The mount, you have to mount the router here.
Yes, right. Sorry. I just missed that. So that router should also be there in the app.js. Require. कौन था intelligent बच्चा? Who was this intelligent guy? Acha. Good, guys. Thank you. So we've missed this part in app.js. Also, we need to have that router slash and book router and book routes. So we'll be connecting this. How we'll be connecting this? We will be connecting this app.use. That I need to use this router part, right? In slash books. Slash books. The recording, I'll try to provide recording. I'll just ask the team. Okay. /routes/slash books. Okay. Okay. Now it will be coming at slash books. Let's see this. Yes. So initially the books area is empty. So that is showing this as fine. Success. Thank you, Akasha and Sham Mahanta. And so that is the idea. We'll be keeping this as slash books. Okay. And now try to understand next thing. Okay. Now we'll be trying to make one more. I think now we have set up the basic things. Now we'll be able to quickly code. Okay. Do you guys want to code it if I try to share you guys the code? Yes. Do you guys want to code it alongside if I try to share you the code part or no? Yes. What about others? Yes. Okay. So I'll try to share you the code quickly. And you guys can try to I'll just share it file wise maybe. This is app.js. Let's do it quick, okay? And can anybody give me that Google sheet? Can anybody give me the sheet link of the Google sheet quickly? मैं गायब हो गया. Just close that. So you haven't connected the database yet. Okay. अच्छा. You can just write the coding part. You can just try writing the coding part, okay? Don't focus. You can just try writing the coding part, and that coding part will try to compare. Okay. Don't need to write it complete thing. Okay. You don't need to write complete thing. You can just try writing the coding part simply. Keep in the books controller. You can write the books controllers, right? You can write the controllers, something of that sort. ताकि आप थोड़ा बहुत idea लगा पाओ, okay? So that you can actually get somewhat idea of how to just maybe get reference. कि कुछ देख के लिखना पड़ेगा. Okay, you will need to copy paste something and then write it, but that is fine, right? And like in books controller .js, you have to write something, right? This is something that you'll be writing, and then you'll be writing the other functions. You can try writing simultaneously. That in routes, what you will be writing, okay? Then in books routes, what is that you'll be routing? So this is the basic structure, and these we need to find out. Books-routes.js, right? Book-route.js is something that you'll be writing. Okay. So now try to understand. Now try writing something. So we'll be writing a get a post database add book. Okay, add book size is there. So where I'll be writing this in add book thing. Okay, in add book we'll be writing in. First of all, we'll make that route. Okay, that router dot post. The other name is post. Okay, post is slash. Okay, I'll be posting this. And what is the name? I'll be naming it anything. Book controller dot add book. Book controller dot add book. And in the books controller, I will make the same function. I'll try to make the same function. Control C, Control V. The name of the function is add book. Okay. And what is the syntax? The syntax is same, almost same. Okay, not exactly same, but yes, similar. I will say that what we'll be doing, we'll be writing that async await. Okay, but we need to get the things right. We need to get all these things. So we need to get this constant information equals to name, author, description, and name, author, description, price. These सारी चीजें मुझे चाहिए, right? These are the things I need to get. These are the request. These are the part of request. I will label. These are the part of the request and image, right? Equals to request.body. These are the things that I've got as request.body. Correct. So let book. We'll be creating that book. It's not books. It's book. And try block starting.
So we'll be creating that book, right? We'll be creating that new book. Book equals to new book, right? Inside the new book, we will be writing this. It will be writing this and name is मतलब मैंने उसका एक नई उस schema में in that schema part exactly in that schema part what have I done? Okay, what have I actually done that in that schema part I am trying to create this object. I am simply trying to add this object that should have the name parameter, that should have the author parameter, that should have the description, okay, that should have the price, and that should have the available or image, right? But ये सारी चीजें, all these things should be a part of the book. बस ये book schema में एक object चला गया, right? इस book schema का एक object चला गया जिसकी values ये वाली हैं, name, author, description, price, available and image. ठीक है? So this is a way in which you will be adding the schema and अब आप क्या करोगे? You will await, okay? In the try block, you will actually await जब तक ये सारी इंफॉर्मेशन इकट्ठी नहीं हो जाती and after that simply book.save. This book.save is also a MongoDB operation. We have found out the function is book.find. The next operation that is .save. This is also part of the MongoDB. Otherwise, catch will throw an error. So at last, again, if the book is empty, and in that case we'll throw an error. So unable to add, the unable error is 500. Okay, not able to do something is 500. That is unable to add simply. Okay, unable to add. And otherwise, what is there? Otherwise, you simply print that book that yes, this book has been added successfully. Okay, what we need to do next? Exports. We need to actually export this thing. Okay, exports.add book. We can simply add book also. हम लोग add book करेंगे. Export.add book equal to add book. बस हो गया. ये लग रहा है. Let's try this. And so in the book slash, I'll be adding this. This is a post request. Okay, I need to send body, raw format, and JSON file. Right, this is a JSON file. And this is the information, this is the JSON that I've already created. I can just change the JSON file. This is the format in which you'll be sending the data, right? And that is name is maybe we were figuring out that, right? Any good book, guys? Anybody wants to share their favorite books? कोई favorite book बताओ यार, कुछ favorite book author के बारे में कुछ ना कुछ. किसी के पास कोई favorite book नहीं है? H.C. वर्मा. H.C. वर्मा, okay. Harry Potter, J.K. Rowling, Think, Link, Monk, nice, Theory of Everything, okay. Harry Potter, we can do that. Harry Potter is good. Harry Potter. And author is J.K. Rowling. Description is good book. This is sample book. This is amazing book. Price is not 200, price is 2000. Available is true and something of that sort, right? As equal to. Okay, let's send this. 404 error not found. Still an error. What is the error? Let's see this. What is the issue, guys? What can be the possible issue? I am having this JSON file. I am writing this in request format. Export issue? Not probably. Name, author, description, price, available. Have I added all of the things, right? Name added. Okay, so in the app.js actually, I need to, so this is not expecting, yes, I got that. So this is not expecting this to be a JSON file. Okay. तो मतलब उसको बताना पड़ेगा. I need to tell my app.json that app.json you should be used to this express.json, right?
you should be used to express.json. That is something I need to tell कि आपको use करना पड़ेगा express.json. ठीक है, that कि वो JSON format का इतना वो शौकीन नहीं है. He's not very used to the JSON format, so that is app.use express.json, right? Express.json. Now this will be fine. And let's see this. So these are terminals, that's going fine. Okay, let's try this now. So description is fine. I think description is not an issue. Now they'll send this. Still another /books. Name.
We can use the get post place. We can use the get now.
No, it will be post only because we're sending the information.
Okay.
So post is request is we're sending the information. In the router part, not drop. By chance screen share बंद हो गई थी. Screen share बंद हो गई थी. Fine. Don't worry. Okay. Just by chance the screen share was stopped. And okay, so the issue could be in the routes. Are we missing something? /post book.controller. Okay, module.export controller. Anybody is able to figure out an issue guys? /book is there. Okay. Router is fine in app.js, right? Router is fine because express is fine. App is I'm able to write the express.json /books router. I'm doing some obvious mistake, very obvious mistakes. In the add book section, I'm adding it. Post router.post books controller. Book controller.add book. And that's the post request. Having the books controller, writing the controller, express is there. Writing the express router. Book controller module.export. Okay. What is the issue? In the add book section, we are having the name description as request.body, getting a book, trying a book equals to new book, name, author, description, price, available, image, name, author, description, price. I think this 1 second, name, author, description, price, available, image. 6 parameters, right? Okay. Await book.save. Await book.save. Saving it, error is being thrown. If the book is empty, then 500 message unable to add. Otherwise, return status should be 201 message because the created is 201. The name is add book. No, not the same code. Route isn't founding the controller somehow. Yes, right. /post books controller /add book. I think that is not an issue. That should be fine. In the books controller, I am having the add book. Books routes is not saved. Let's try this now. That will be same only, Karthik. Because everything we're importing it from the route, from apps, we're importing that routes. So that is not a very big issue. I mean, that should work anyhow. It is books only, no? In the app.js. In the app.js, it's books /books, correct. Let's try submitting it sent. Yes, it's working fine now. God knows what was the issue. But yes, it's working fine. Now, if I try to show you the get request, If I try to show the get request, then it will be trying to get this book. Okay, let's try add another book. Okay, and we'll be adding one more book. I think that is God of Physics. God of Physics, not master, not God, but yes, still Master of Physics. I think the name of the book is Physics Volume 1, है ना? Physics Volume 1 by H.C. Verma. Bad book, bad memories associated. Price is, I think, 350, 400 types. Available? No. And I think that's it. Yes, so this is done. Now try to understand automatically MongoDB is giving a unique ID to this. Automatically the MongoDB is really giving a unique ID to this. Okay. So let's see the get request. Let's send the get request and it will trying to get me all the books. Okay. It is trying to get me all the books well. Right. Yes, I think it was access.json. Actually, I have not saved the router file. Okay. I have not saved that router file maybe. This router file was books.route was not saved. So that was the issue. Okay. So I mean this he was not considering that. Okay. I hope you got it. So okay, now let's quickly try to write others also. Okay, then we'll get some small break. But let's quickly try to write it. And so now what we'll be doing in the router part, let's have another get book by ID, right? So that's a get request. And that is what we're writing, asking as a parameter. Okay, get book by ID. कि एक book हमें ID के साथ दे दो. Right, get by ID. That is the next thing that we'll be trying. That let's simply get book by ID. In order to get book by ID, so we can also see it in the MongoDB also. In the MongoDB, if you guys check this, in the MongoDB database, right? So browse collections. So you could see that they're also part of the database. That books database is having these two books, right? These books, two books are actually part of the database. So database में आने लग गई हैं. So everything that we could see is working fine. Okay. So let's try to jump to the next thing. The next thing that we are having is I need to get routes by any particular book ID. Okay. Get by ID. So matlab ID, jo ID, this is a part of the URL only, right? ID will be a part of the URL. And now try to understand this. These all are endpoints. Okay, these are simply endpoints. What one more we'll be discussing is router.put. That is for update. Okay, that is for update part. Okay, router.put is for update part. We एक ID जाएगी /ID, and that will be having books.update book, books collection controller.update book, update book. Okay, and what all we can have with get we can have get by ID. Book controller एक बनाएंगे, book controller get by ID. Get by ID. Okay, update books, and one more router will be making that is the delete one, right? So these are the basic CRUD operations, guys. The idea of this workshop was to help you become familiar with so ताकि आप इतना basic structure बना पाओ हर जगह, right? That you are able to make this basic structure somehow on your own. That yes, these are the basic structures. I am able to write the APIs. I am able to write the endpoints to some extent. At least if not able to write, then I am able to understand them what are written, right? I am able to understand them that yes, this is something that is written, something of that sort, right? More if you go through any project, you want to get the project for your resume, so you don't feel very blank. Okay, that is the idea. So we'll be writing these get book, update book, and delete book, right? Let's quickly write the controllers. So one of thing that we'll be having is get book by ID. I just use these values, constant get all books. Okay. तो ये सब MongoDB मतलब mongoose के वो expressions हैं, right? These all are simply mongoose expressions. Get by ID. Okay. Async await and request. Async await next is as it is. Now what I will be having. I need to have the ID part, right? ID चाहिए मुझे. ID parameters में आ रही है. So constant ID. This is also syntax part.
कि request क्या है, request dot params, okay, dot id, जो भी parameters की id है, that is what I am simply getting, okay, and let book, एक book बना, एक book लेनी है अपने को, and that book is what, book is await, await book find by id, simple, एक await book find by id, ये भी एक inbuilt function होता है, find by id. Right. So you could see there are a lot of inbuilt functions, but उन inbuilt functions के जो Mongoose database में interact करने के लिए whatever the inbuilt functions that I am having, it is those inbuilt functions that I am using, right? Whatever the inbuilt function that I am having, I am simply using those inbuilt functions. One of the inbuilt function that I am having is find by ID. Right? This is the inbuilt function that I am having, find by ID, correct? So catch error, console log error. If the book is not available, return 404 message no product found. This is fine, and otherwise this is okay, right? Books, book, even book, right? And no book found, right? Here should be no book found, not products, no book found. Right? And this should be simple. Otherwise, print that book. You can print that book also. You can print a message also, right? Key all good types, right? And you need to do what? You need to simply export that also. Exports dot add. That is what is that we've done? Get by ID, right? Equals to get by ID. Okay. Control save. And routers, maybe we have saved that. Actually, we need to abhi ke liye, since they are not defined, so I'll just unmark them. I'll just okay. Let's just complete these only. Let us quickly complete all of them, and then we'll just check all of them. Right. So the next thing that we're having is add book, get book, or क्या चाहिए अपने को? We need to have that update book, right? Would you guys try update book वाला थोड़ा बहुत कुछ हद तक आप update book वाला try करना चाहोगे? Guys, are you getting this? या बोर हो चुके हो तुम लोग? समझ आ रहा है नहीं आ रहा? बस खत्म हो गया, थक गए हैं. Yes, क्या सीन है? जवानों, what do you guys? What is that? Bored, doing it. I mean, just going through this, not understanding, getting it to some extent.
Getting it to some extent, but not right now in a position to answer you fully. Like that's the major part with me right now.
Acha. I mean, you're getting it to some extent. I mean, you're able to get something, but not in a position to answer. That was a good answer. That was a good answer. Yes, we'll take a break. Just let's complete this delete book and update book. I'll give you a break. Okay, I'll give you a break part. I mean, we'll just complete this backend part and then I'll give you the break part. Just quickly allow me to cover that backend part. Or you guys want me? Let's just copy paste the code only, and then we could explain you guys. लोग थक चुके हैं, कितना टाइम लगेगा भाई? बस करो भाई. Yes, Tanishka, things will take time. Okay, so I'll just copy paste in case you guys want that. So we'll copy paste this constant update book and delete book, right? Same code, right? Update book and delete book, and we'll be exporting these book things. Exports. Update book equals to update book and exports dot delete book equal to delete book, right? Same here, almost same, right? So just we are simply doing that. We are getting the parameters, getting the find by ID and remove, throwing the error and unable to delete by this ID, product successfully deleted or book successfully deleted basically. Right. Book successfully deleted and yes, unable to update the product. Same, right? This is same as update is same as add and delete is same as find, right? So let's just understand this. I think we're done with this mostly. We've got here. Let's just save this. And book routes, we are having these. Let's save them. And I think this is fine. Let's just tick this.
Okay. Yes, the code will be shared to you after the session. Definitely. The code will be shared. Updating the Google Doc, just a second. Let's just check this once. So what is the ID that, let me copy any ID. Okay. So I am having books/ID. I need to get this ID. Enter. No book found. There is no book with this ID. ऐसा कैसे हो गया? एक second. We are having any ID, right? एक second. Some issues there, right? /ID, get by ID. Getting all the books. This is the ID, right? Let's copy this ID. Control C, copy, / Control V. No book found. It is showing an error. ID parameter unused. That is in the get book by ID, right? Constant ID. यहाँ पर ID आएगा bracket में, yes. So you are seeing it from here only, right? आप ये यहाँ पर देख रहे होगे. We can also check it here. That http / localhost /5000 /books /ID, right? Wait a second. This can work here also, right? Yes, so this is working fine. We've got the ID. Okay. So yes, now this is working fine. So I've got the ID, want to delete the ID. How we'll be deleting this? We'll be using the delete request, use delete. Okay. The delete this ID is sent. Book deleted successfully. Okay. Now you'll see the get all books. आपको get request देखनी है. Get books. कि सारी books ले आओ. Okay. Send. So we've got this books, right? Only one book is pending. You want to add a book, you can add a book also, that is also fine. That is using the post request. So अब आप समझ रहे हो, you're trying to understand this. These all are actually the URLs, right? These all are the URLs which are helping us to communicate, right? These are helping us to communicate, put the data, get the data, fetch the data, delete the data. So all these URLs are working fine. That is the, I think, more or less the backend part is complete. Okay, the backend part is complete. Any quick queries, guys? I think we should go for a 10 minutes break after this. Yes, any quick queries, please feel free to ask. Otherwise the break for 10 minutes. Cool. After that, I'll just try to show you the front end part. How will that be connected? Will not discuss very detailed the front end part because React is itself a very big thing. Next parameter. कौन सा next parameter? Next parameter is like you understand the concept of middlewares, Shah? The middleware is bas next, something of that sort. Next is jump to the next middleware. That's the idea. So next is like a middleware. Ki next function jo hona chahiye, that is the middleware kind of thing. Next is denoting the next function it can talk to. Ki for example, sign up के बाद मुझे login page पे जाना चाहिए. So that is the next thing for this, for him. I want Java Spring Boot concepts. गलत class में आ गया उत्कर्ष किशोर. You have come into the wrong class maybe.
Yes, I can share the code now. Definitely, I can share the code now. Yes, yes, yes. Just give me a moment. I'll just try to put it on the GitHub only. Right. Okay. Just give me a moment, guys. I'll try to. Yes.
Yes, the recording will be provided, Ankit, full stack development. I think, Ankit, maybe try to go it in this way only. Try to practice more CRUD operations. You should become comfortable with writing CRUD operations on your own. ये MVC structure आप खुद लिख पाओ. And then I think once you're done with that, you can probably start developing on the back end part. I mean, it's always about practice. Take up a project, whatever you're feeling good about, and then you can try to, practice that. Yes, this is the GitHub link. I was just writing on that. This is the GitHub link to the backend. Okay, I will just take a 2 minutes break, go get some water also, and I'll see you guys at 5:15. Meanwhile, you guys also go scroll Instagram. I think so, guys. The backend part is mostly complete. Okay, we have almost covered the backend part. I'll just quickly try to take doubts, whatever the doubts you guys are having of the backend part, and then we can jump into the front end part. It's not like that, Mohit. You can choose the backend and the front end whatever you want. Okay, it's not like that. कोई ऐसा पहले पीछे वाली बात नहीं होती. You can choose either the backend and the front end, any one of them. The GitHub link is shared. Okay, the GitHub link. This is the GitHub link. It's present in the chat section. This is the GitHub link. This is for the backend part. And yeah, you get the idea of the backend MVC. But so what is routing? Routing is just actually technically, if you ask me, routing is not required. Okay, if you ask me, routing is not required. It's just an address book. Okay, technically in the MPC architecture, we are having the model part. Okay, where's the drawing part? Yeah, so we are having the model part. So model is there, the views are there, and in the controllers, okay, this is where the router actually comes into picture. Okay,
So even if you try to see, router is just acting as an address book. Okay, this is like an address book. That address book tells us that for this particular API endpoint, okay, that this for this particular endpoint, dot get dot put types, okay, for dot get dot put types, we are having this to, this is the function, corresponding function name. Just address book hai aise ki mapping. This is just trying to keep a mapping. This is beneficial technically. Router is much more. Router is very beneficial. Okay, but yes, that is the idea. What about front end? I didn't get that. Jyotish will give. I mean, let's discuss the code for front end, and then I'll share you the code. Right. Okay. For full stack development, Anand, I think a good way to practice is this only. You can try, for example, today you have learned something about the CRUD operation, right? You have got about something idea of the backend part. Try seeing and understanding one or two more times. Okay. This is very similar to like how you practice DSA, right? You solve 2-3 problems. The first 2-3 problems you're not able to solve, right? But with time, you're able to figure out the problems part, right? You are able to relate patterns. You're able to understand the syntax part and all that stuff. So that is a good way to practice this, right? Any other queries, guys? Please feel free to ask me whatever things that are not clear to you guys in the backend part. App.js is simply the framework. App.js is the first thing that runs. It is helping us connect to the MongoDB, and it is connecting us /books. I mean, it's also connecting us to the router. Then we have connected the models. Model is how my schema should look like, right? The MongoDB schema that I've actually made, how that should look like. This thing is kept in the schema. Okay, that's how my MongoDB schema should look like. It should have a name, string, and all that stuff. Okay, these are things. This is the parameters type, available, not available, and all that stuff. Okay, and that should be having the book schema. Okay, then we have the controllers part. In the controllers part, whatever we are having different functions. Get all books is one of the functions. Get books by ID. And these controllers are actually interacting with the backend, right? Using these functions, book.find by ID. This is an inbuilt function in Mongoose. Okay, this function, if you go in this detail in this function, this is the detailed function, right? So काफी detailed function है, काफी मुश्किल लग रहा है, मैं तो खुद डर गया. This is actually written in Mongoose, and this function is responsible for building indices. कुछ कर रहा है. So this is doing something. Okay, and we are just creating the objects book and returning them. I mean, just the data transfer is going on, right? So now if somebody asks you what is an API, what is the answer that you will be giving, guys? If somebody asks you what is an API, what will be the answer you guys will be giving? Connection between database and server. Okay. Yes, anybody else? What is an API? Now, what is actually an API?
We can implement the controller and API.
API क्या होती है?
Application Programming Interface.
वो तो full form होगी. और कुछ?
Communicate the.
It's a communication channel. That is helping us transfer of data, and that transfer of data, it is helping between. That transfer of data, it is actually helping between the database, that is the MongoDB, and the server. Okay, the communication between the database and the server, the communication of data, right? Communication किस चीज का? The communication of the data between the database, that is the MongoDB database, and the second thing that we are having is the database and the the server part, right? That communication that is performed by APIs, server part. Right? Alright, that is what we really mean by APIs. Okay, MongoDB part में create account. Okay, कुछ नहीं है MongoDB part में. Okay,
Just we need to create the database online, right? So how we'll be doing that? Just simply go on the MongoDB. MongoDB. This is the MongoDB. I am clicking on the MongoDB. Sign in. Sign in with Google. Right. I'll just close extra things. Right, okay. Right, okay. This is fine. And yeah. Okay, so this is Mern, create project, new project, whatever the name of project you want to give. Okay. This is the name of the project, for example. And this is the Ritvik projects. The Ritvik project. Right, this is the project. Next, create. Simply just itna hi hona tha. This is the done. The creation part is done. Apart from that, network SS is there. Add an IP address. The IP address allow access from anywhere, because this database is also so restricted. Okay, because these are the actual databases. Where in Myntra we use SQL. Okay, technically in Myntra we use SQL, but at lot of places MongoDB is used, very famous database. So this is the address. From the database access, what we'll be doing, create database user. That who is the user that can communicate with this? I am the admin user. I am having the password as Ritvik. Right, Ritvik. Okay, copy the password and create add user. These users can actually interact with they are given all the access to the database, right? Then you need to create the database, build the database actually. Just simply create, and everything is as it is, right? Create cluster. बस बाकी सब कुछ skip, create cluster. These all things are not required for the authentication part. Okay, the databases are also logged, but technically you don't need that as of now. Just simply finish and close. Go to the dashboard. Okay, so this will be created. Okay, so once this is actually created, you can simply connect with that. Okay, all right. So guys, for the backend part, Ritvik, clear hua? Anybody guys? This thing is clear, right? Backend part, yes, no. You guys found something useful part, right? Crystal clear. Okay. Others guys, the backend part is clear. Yes, no. Yes, sounds good. I mean, you've got some idea, right? That is the idea of this workshop. Technically, even I am learning at this stage. I mean, I have been doing this for the past 2 years. This all this stuff, the development part, but it's always still a learning for me as well. So it's definitely a learning process. This idea of this workshop was just to help you get started with this, right? Just to help you get that head start thing. Okay, how to perform that APIs and all that stuff. So now try to understand this. Okay, the backend part. The backend part is made in the React. React. What to say? It's in the front end part. Okay, we'll not discuss that in very detail. Okay, time constraint is also there, and otherwise you'll get very much bored. And I'll go to the front end. Okay, front end and back end are actually independent. Okay, the front end and back end are deployed on independent. So see, now try to understand this. This back end is running fine on port 5000, right? So this back end, try to think of it in this way. Whatever the back end is there, okay, whatever the back end part is there, okay, जो भी back end है, that back end is deployed on a server. That backend is deployed on a server port 5000. Backend is actually deployed on a port 5000. Now I am running my website. I am running my React website on any other port. The React website I will run on port 3000. That's the default port. And अगर मुझे कुछ information चाहिए, right? In case I really need any information, okay, or I want to send any information, right? I will hit at this URL /books/id ऐसा कुछ, right? These are the URLs that I will hit. तो ये URL में hit करूंगा with some data. मतलब now try to understand. Now these APIs, this is an API, right? This is an API,
And this API is actually helping us communicate between the backend and the front end part. Right? I'll just try to repeat this. See, the React is working fine. React को किसी चीज की कोई जरूरत नहीं है. The React is working absolutely fine. But the React needs to get data, right? React में कुछ information होनी चाहिए, get data part or get some information part. Okay. In order for the React to get the data or the information part, he need to hit a URL. Okay, he need to hit a URL that is maybe with the help of an API. ठीक है, वो API को hit करेगा, and that API will somehow try to get information, right? API will get information from the database or from the backend part, right? Database plus backend, however they will communicate. That's not our problem, right? It is getting the information and it will send the information, right? I get, and these formats, that is how APIs are communicating between the front end and the back end part. This is the front end part, right? This is the front end part, and yes, this is the back end part, right? I will be communicating between the front end and the back end part, and that is the idea. ठीक है, समझ आया? Just to get an overview of this. Okay, right. Okay. So now the next thing is that, okay, now the next thing is that in order to, so this is the front end part. I'm at the front end part. The command to start is npx create react app, and then app name. That is the front end. The front end bookstore. Simply, this will take some time. This is getting installed, and this is the basic structure. Okay. So for any React app, I'll just try to tell you the overall structure of the front end part. बस इसमें भी हम same ही कर रहे हैं. The idea is same, that we are actually doing almost the same stuff. Okay. Whatever the React is having components and all that stuff. How many of you guys are having some idea of the React, or how many of you guys are having zero idea of React? Zero idea plus zero. अच्छा, zero idea. ठीक है. Okay, got it. Plus one, 0 plus 1, 1. Okay, got it. Plus 1. So basically, made 2-3 projects with you. So you guys have made, acha. If you have made those projects with me, then Anshul, that's more than enough idea. Okay. Honestly, guys, the React is little tricky. Okay. The React is little tricky. It's not possible for me to explain in a very short format. I'll try to give you an overview of the React part. Okay. React का basic use case क्या होता है? What is the use case of the React? Okay. The use case of the React is that it is providing that the React is actually React is used. Why React is used over HTML? Why the React is used over HTML part or CSS part? Why is that React used over HTML or CSS? Yes. Fast re-rendering. Okay. Good. Anybody else? React increase user experience. Okay. So React is it does not reload. Okay. It does not reload the components. Okay. Does not reload the components. I mean, the full screen does not get reload the screen. Okay, that saves time. That is a main benefit of the React. Okay, so this thing actually saves time. It is not reloading the screen, so that somehow saves time. Okay, that is the idea of the React, that it is trying to reload this, does not prevent reloading. For example, if you guys see this is the app, right? I go on different things, right? So whenever I go on these different things, okay, try to focus here, /add, these are not reloading, right? These pages are not simply reloading. Okay, ये reload नहीं हो रहे हैं. The information is being just changed. Okay, they're reloaded only once. Okay, yes. So they are reloaded only once, they are loaded only once, okay? They're not reloaded again and again. That is the main benefit of the React, okay? That it does not reload the screens, okay? Just load them once, just loads them once, and once it's really loading them, okay, we will try to, it is trying to auto get that, maybe. Okay. So what I really mean by that, is, for example, the simple example I think I've given that many times, that in Facebook you have seen that there's a like button, right? So even when you click that like button, only that like button gets blue, right? Only that like button gets blue. The complete page does not reload, right? The complete page does not reload. That is the main benefit, okay? The main benefits of main benefit of the React, okay? That's the main benefit of the React. That is not providing that component to read that, and also everything in React is component, okay? Everything in the React is actually a component. Component means some pieces of like these are components, right? So these things are components. Like when you see the books, right? तो एक बार मैंने एक book का component बना दिया, okay? Technically there are no books. Well, I think there's an issue because I have not deployed this, so I need to run the server. So that's fine, okay? So technically everything that you see is a component, okay? Slash about, right? I'll go with about part, right? I think we'll have to reload that, but that's fine, okay? So anything that you go through this is actually a component, and these components can be reused, okay? I'll try to give you an example. So if you actually remember, we had a lot of books, right? We had a lot of books. बहुत सारे books थे अपने पास. And in lot of books, एक बार एक मैंने component बना लिया. I have made a component book. Okay, I have actually made a component book, and it's just like these all are copy of that components only, right? All of these are copy of one, right? So these are simply copies of one. So we are having this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 are simply copies of one. These are simply copies of one, nothing else. And yeah. All right. This thing is making sense. यहाँ तक समझ आया? Did you guys get the idea of the component? Anybody who were having all zero idea? Is some extent कुछ समझ आ रहा है? Or Tushar, Pratik, Rohan, guys? Yes, no? Yes. Okay, Payal. Okay, sounds good. Good. Thank you guys. Thank you. ठीक है. तो अब React में समझना one very important thing, that is we have got this front end part, right? This is the basic structure that you will always get in a React app. Okay, so this is one component. Okay, this is one component. Okay, this is the index.js. Everything there are a lot of things in React. Okay, we can spend proper 6 months there. People are working for 5 years for React, and still they are not very clear of the React. But yes, okay. So what we are using, okay, we are using called it's a function-based approach, right? We are using the function-based approach. Everything in React is a function. Okay, everything in React is actually a function. Okay, everything you try to, so every component, okay, so the components are simply functions. Okay, the components are simply functions. And what does the basic idea look like? The basic idea looks like, and so these all are structures, right? Whatever you write here, okay, whatever things you write here inside the return statement, these all statements are same HTML, CSS only. All these things that you write inside the return statement, they all are nothing but they are the HTML, CSS only, right? ये सब चीजें आप relate कर पा रहे हो, div, header, image, p tag, a tag, href, a tag closing, So everything that you see, okay, so this is the name of the component is function app. Okay, everything that you see inside this, these all are a part of the functions only, right? All of these are actually a part of the HTML CSS. You could see that this is having the .css file also. Anything that I require from the outside thing, okay, anything that I really require from outside, that I'm importing, that I need to get the CSS file, I'm simply importing the CSS file, app.css. Is same, बिल्कुल same. I mean, this is the same CSS file that we generally have. Okay, so anything that you need to write a component, that component you will be writing. This is the by default structure that React creates for you. Okay, this is the by default structure that React actually creates for you. And anything that you want to create, you will be creating is having two things. One is the HTML CSS, और यहाँ पर लिखी होती है JavaScript. Okay, यहाँ पर लिखी होती है JavaScript लिखी होती है. Okay, and the sorry. And the JavaScript is actually used for the sending of the information. JavaScript is actually used for sending of the information. That yes, this is the information that I want to send to you guys. तो यहाँ पर होता है, this is how a basic app looks like. We'll just show you this. In order to start this app, we'll be using npm start. What is the issue? Okay, so we'll have to go into that folder. That is the front end bookstore. So this is fine. So this is the basic React structure that I've got. Okay, that's the basic React structure that is by default there at localhost 3000. Okay, basic React structure. Okay. And you can create more components also. You can simply update these components and all that stuff, right? You can simply update these components. For example, in order to do this, okay, I'll just simply try to show you a basic example. And around React knowledge is much needed. Yes, to some extent, ES6 or JavaScript is definitely required. Okay, JavaScript is required. That is true. Okay, but yes, but still, that's the basic idea. Okay, let's just try to write it. And here comes the variables. Constant. One of them is the count variable, and second is set count. Okay, set count, and that is the states. The state. I'm using the state. Initially, that variable is set to 0. Okay, so these are the variables that I'm simply having. I'm having a dev class. Inside the dev class, I'm having a the button part. This is the count is maybe a paragraph tag, simple. The count is count. Anything that comes in the curly braces, anything that comes in the curly braces is ये वाला count, right? This anything that comes in the curly braces is where you start writing the JavaScript code. Here data comes, ठीक है? जैसे आपको एक component के बीच में data भी आना चाहिए, right? In that component part, you actually need to use state. Sorry. So in that component part, you actually need to have this data, right? So are you able to get an overview picture of what a component looks like? Whatever comes here is the data part. Okay, I'll just show you the data part. And whatever comes in between the return statement, that part is actually used for the information presentation. Okay, that yes, this is the part, and this part I will be doing for the information presentation. Okay, let's try to write it. This is the count is equal. You have clicked these many times, something of that sort. You have clicked these many times. Click these many times. And what I'm simply paragraph tag is there, and then I'm having the button part, right? Button, and that is on click. Button is on click event. So this is a little bit about JavaScript. That's more about JavaScript actually. So in the on click event, we'll be having this is called set count. I am having a set count, and the set count I will be updating the variable of the count by 1. मतलब यहाँ पर मैंने एक function define कर दिया. Okay, these are called arrow based functions also. Okay, these are sometimes called arrow based functions. And the button tag, I'll close that. Okay, button, click me. Let's see this, right? Let's just simply see this, how this is working. Use state is not defined. We need to import that also. Okay, we need to import use state from React. कुछ भी चीज की होती है ना, अपने को import करनी पड़ती है. Import use state and comma React. I need to import the use state and the React part from React, right? जो भी चीजें मुझे चाहिए होती है, whatever things that I really need, I will have to simply import that. Okay, from React. Wait a second. What is the issue? Import use state. Its R is small, right? React comma use state. एक सेकंड वैसे से फर्क नहीं पड़ना चाहिए. So this is about the basic idea, and I'll just show you this. Let's see this. Used it from React, yes. Same thing only as. So in this you could see this. That now try to understand. Now this thing has become a part of component, right? This thing has become a part of component, and only यहाँ पर data change हो रहा है, right? So this complete thing, if I talk about, okay. So this complete thing, if I actually talk about, so yes. So this complete thing that you see is actually a part of what to say. This complete thing that is a part, that's a component, right? Where in this much part, this is where the data is being flowing, right? So यहाँ पर data आ रहा होता है, and this is your, and on clicking, and this is where the event listeners are there. Right? These are event listeners or event listeners, or maybe the action takers type of thing, right? Or second thing, I could also take that yes, this is the action taker. Right? This is where the data is flowing and all that stuff. So this is how a basic component looks like, where the data keeps on getting changed, right? That is the idea of the basic components of a React. Now in the React part, there are a lot of components. You can create as many components as you want. Okay, you can create as many components as you want. And for this particular code, and for this particular code specifically, I want to show you the basic code, that is the structure, how the structure is there. And I hope you have got the idea. The idea that I wanted to convey you guys, कि जो ये data आता है, right? So we need to get this data, right? Now this data part will actually come from the backend. Okay, मतलब मैं एक API hit करूँगा. I will actually hit an API, and that API will help me get the data, and that data part is what I will be presenting in that component. समझे? Basic idea समझ रहे हो कि ये वही लोग होते हैं कि जो अटेंडेंस के लिए आ जाते हैं. अभिराज, आप अभी आए हो क्या? Right. Hey Abhiraj, you have joined just now? Abhiraj Singh? Anyways. Okay, never mind. So try to get the basic idea. Okay, this is the, I think already I am having the code part. I'll share with you guys this code. Okay, but yes, try to understand this. These are the components that I'm having, right? App.js. Okay, so all of these are components: home, add, book, books, about, book detail. Okay, so ये सब components हैं, and these components should come at different routes, right? That if you actually see this, I'll just deploy this once. Just 1 second. We'll just stop that code part, and I'll discuss it from here. Technically, actually,
I was planning to help you guys with this. I'll try to explain you. Okay. But the backend took a lot of time. So I think you'll have to somehow get to the front end part. I'll try to guide you more. But yes, somehow the front, not the exactly front end you have to do on your own. We'll helping you definitely. I'll explain you the complete code, but still you will have to figure out some things on your own. I mean, try to understand it's not very possible for me as an individual for if I could, I mean, in 3 hours, try to understand 3 hours. It's not very possible that we could try. Yes, still we'll be getting the recording. Yes, you'll be getting the recording part. You can get the recording part definitely. Okay. The recording will come on your mail. Okay, you'll be getting the recording part. Yes, right. And yes, please try to understand it's not possible for me also as an individual that in 3 hours I can complete front end, back end, React, and make you understand everything, right? So that is possible. But I hope the main idea, the back end part, we were able to cover a lot of things. MongoDB, we were able to cover somehow. We were able to cover the APIs part. We were able to cover the Node.js part, Express part, right? And it will take time. Okay. And we try to take, honestly, we try to keep the React workshops. Okay. We try to definitely uh, take right. I'll try post a GitHub link will definitely be there. GitHub link, the code and everything will be there. Code and recording will be provided. So let me just start this once. Terminal is there. And just 1 second. And the bookstore project Tushar is there. Okay, so CD backend. You can start. Start the node mon, and also I need to start the backend. CD front end. CD bookstore. And I basically started the front end and the back end both, right? Right. So now try to see this. Though we are having the books part right at the about us. So these are all components. So this thing is one component maybe, and this is at what URL /about. Okay. This is at this particular URL about us. Okay. So in the app.js, जैसे हमने app.js में करा था ना, this is telling me the routes. This is similar to router. Okay. This is very similar to what we have the route part. Okay. The route part are there, right? कि इस पे ये होगा, इस पे ये component आएगा, इस पे ये component आएगा. When we go to /about, when we go to the /about, this is the component that should be rendered, about component. Let's see what is this about component. Again, so see, every component will have the same thing. Okay. Every component will have the same thing. This is the design part. Okay. This is the design part, and this is the HTML CSS part, right? In the HTML CSS part also, these are some basic components, and this is the box topography, all these things. Okay, these are just components. Okay, so I will say that box topography. तो आप यहाँ पर कुछ भी कर सकते हैं. Let's do this simple. Assuming this is not there. Okay, so this is about. This is about section. This is about section. Simple. Okay, let's see this. Now you could see that this is about section. But simple. कि जो भी आप यहाँ पर अब, but I need to present it in a beautiful manner, right? This is not looking good. So in order to present it in a beautiful manner, तो कुछ inbuilt components होते हैं. MUI is an inbuilt library. Okay. Material UI React is an inbuilt library that is containing a lot of components. ठीक है. तो आप get started में you need to install this thing. Okay, you need to install this thing MUI. ये थोड़ा सा guide कर देंगे आप लोग. I mean, this is little bit you have to struggle little bit, and just see this. So material, there are a lot of icons, right? For example, I need to get this button. What are the icons used? For example, I need to get the box button part, right? I need to get the button part maybe. So in order to get the button, this is the button. Just simply I can copy this code. बस इसको ये this checkbox is already, this checkbox is a component. Okay, this checkbox is a component, and we can simply just import this component. Okay, तो मैंने ये component import कर दिया checkbox icon, and I can simply use this component checkbox icon slash, yes. Okay.
Now you could see that in my React part, in the React app, the checkbox icon has come. Okay. So mostly in the code, okay, mostly in the code is the design components that have been imported more. Okay. So all these are majorly components. Okay. So these are boxes, right? So these all are boxes. These are boxes. These have been imported. This taskbar is also imported. All of them are simply imported. ये सब आपको याद करने की जरूरत नहीं है. Okay. Just try to understand what things mean what. तो box and topography मैंने import कर रखे हैं. React is something that I will always import about. And right. तो बस मैंने इनको import कर रखा है. And then I'm just setting something, and this is the design part. Okay. Design part of React comes with time, with practice. And yeah. Okay. Like in the add product section, let's go to the add product section. So these are the basic sections, right? Home.js. How the home.js will look like? Home.js will look like this. Right? This is the home.js that look like. So home.js ek to kahan aana chahiye? So even this is the design part, right? This is the design part. All of this should come in a box. Okay, all of this should come in a box. What should be presented? Box aana chahiye. And they should have a button. Button should be linked to /books. This should be the settings of that, and this should be the content that should be written, right? View all products. The content likha hona chahiye. Typography is used for the content. Typography, matlab React is all about component based. Okay, so you can read about these components: button, typography, box. So these are components hain jo aap thode, I mean, you can kind of get through them. Okay. Similarly, header. So header is also containing a lot of components, right? This is the app bar, that is the header part. Okay. Nav bar, sorry. Okay. That nav bar should have these all things: library, outstanding collection. This is the icon. This is actually the icon part. This is the icon. And you can have the tabs. These are the 3 tabs that I'm having: add, books, and about. Add product, books, and about us, right? So 3 tabs and right. So these are simple 3 tabs, and they should link to what? Okay, if you could see that, they should link to these /add book /book /about, right? कि अगर मैं books पे click करूं तो यहाँ पर ये change हो रहा है. Try to see that nav link is getting changed. If I click on add product, that is sending. If I click on /books, if I click on /about, तो ये links change हो रहे हैं. This is what the nav bar is doing. The header file is doing. इसमें tabs are different. All these are guys. These are all a part of components only. It's just like we are simply. So with practice, we come to know about some major components. REST components we can always use and break them. Okay. Would not this material UI is simply bootstrap only, right? Any good MERN stack? Yes, I think okay. I'll try to share some good resources through email. I'll have to find them myself, honestly. But yes, but I think the simple ideas could be that try to make small projects. Try to make some 4 or 5 projects. You will be good with this. Okay. Like try to make 3 or 4 React projects, you are good with the React projects. Material UI is same as Bootstrap only, yes. Okay, Material UI is almost same as Bootstrap only. I mean, whatever things Bootstrap is doing in the CSS. So in the CSS file, right, you have the Bootstrap part that automatically you can import some things. Same thing Material UI is doing for React. Absolutely same thing. Material UI is Bootstrap are called CSS libraries, yes. Okay. So that is the idea. Okay, and in the about section, in the add book section is a lot complicated, but I'll show you. तो ये सब design components मैंने import कर दिए हैं Material UI से, MUI Material मतलब library से. Box चाहिए था मुझे, Axios चाहिए था. What is Axios doing? Axios is doing the task of postman. Okay, Axios is doing the task of postman. That whatever the postman does. Okay, I'll just try to show you. So add book is a function name. देखो ध्यान से समझना. These are the variables inputs. Okay, these are the variables. मैंने आपको बताया ना variables होते हैं. This is same as what to say. This is same as a constant count, right? So whatever we have done, const count. इसे हमने आपको याद करो. देखो यहाँ पर JavaScript लिखी जाती है हमेशा. यहाँ पर JavaScript लिखा जाता है. So all this is written JavaScript. Whatever comes here, this is the HTML part, right? This is the same design part. So this box is what we have imported, and box की ये properties हम set कर सकते हैं, उसके direction and all that stuff, right?
text field is there and author name. So these are simply text fields, value, on change, ये सब चीजें. So all this. So basically this is the form part. And in the request part, try to understand. Okay, मैंने एक request भेजी XCS से. XCS is same as Postman. Okay, तो मैंने एक post request भेजी इस URL पे. मतलब basically I have sent a post request at the back end, right? At the back end I have sent a post request and I have simply put the data, right? जो भी input से आ रहा है, input.name I have put the data, input.price, input.image. So all these things I have simply put it in result response.data, right? I mean, I totally agree, guys. For somebody who is really basic types, ठीक है. अभी के लिए थोड़ा सा मुश्किल है ये, but मतलब थोड़ा सा this is little tricky. I understand that, but I think with if you try to focus little bit on the React part, and then I think you can get good with this, right? Same is for the books part, right? You want to go with the books part. This is the same books part, okay? This is the same that count variable जो books का information निकालेगा, right? And ये books को present कर रहे हैं. We're simply presenting the books. I'll just show you the book.js. तो मैंने क्या करा, books को delete करने के लिए मैंने एक delete handler बना लिया. These are simply controllers. Try to understand this. These are simply controller functions. Relate them. Controller functions handling stuff. These are simply controller functions that are handling stuff. तो मैंने कुछ properties मंगवाई, image, ID, author, ये सब चीजें delete कर दिया बस simply. This is the design part, right? So even if you see this, whatever you see this is the HTML, CSS that is correct. But whatever comes in between this, in the curly braces, whatever things actually come in the curly braces are variables. So image, author, name, description, price, these all are actually the variables that are coming as a parameter. ठीक है, देखो मैंने एक component बना लिया books, ध्यान से समझना. From books.js, okay, from books.js, I am using a loop. This is map is kind of a loop only. ठीक है, and in the book component I am just sending the different parameters. ठीक है, एक बार मैंने component बना लिया. Once I have actually made a component, okay, once I've actually made a book component, in that book component I am just sending different parameters, right? So that is how the components are even reused. Try to understand this. This is little something that I think you can get very easily. So we were talking about that React is more focused on the component reloading, correct? So what is the statement? The statement is that, see, so I have once created a book component, right? So मैंने book component बना दिया. That yes, this is how the book component will look like, how the book component will have the value and all that stuff, right? Book component will have the value and all that stuff, right? Okay. So in this book component, okay, in this book component, just the different times, so the structure is same, right? This is the card, how it will look like. यहाँ पर ये चीज आएगी, ये चीज आएगी. यहाँ पर update का function आएगा, delete का function आएगा. And now it's just like I'm sending different data, okay? I have different data, and different cards are automatically getting generated. So this is one component. The book is actually a component that is being reused, right? And what is books.js doing? Books.js is simply doing that for loop task. Okay, for loop लगाया मैंने एक, simply sending the data. I'm simply sending the data, and that data part I am simply sending in that book parameter, right? All right, guys. I know this is little complicated. I'll share the front-end code also. I'll share the I'll update it on the GitHub account. But any queries you are having very particular, please let me know. Otherwise, front-end part, thoda bahut, I think React part. Once you are clear with some basic React, then sorry. Just hold on. ये by chance auto exit हो गया था. This was auto exited. Please record it. Yes, provide the recorded video. Yes, the recording. Okay, so 3 things will come on your email. The first thing is the recording. The recording of the lecture, the code of the lecture, and the feedback form. You guys have filled it, right? Have you guys filled the feedback form? You guys can tell me the feedback right away only, I think. So people have filled it, right? Seems like this. Okay. So in case somebody has left, okay, please fill that. I'll just reshare that. So, right. I get that. Yes. I recommend you can go with that, Ash. Okay, you can go with that. And yes, okay. That's fine. Okay. Anything else, guys, you want to maybe, I think more or less that's fine. No, you don't need to refill that form. Okay, in case you've already filled that form, you can refill that. You don't need to refill that form. Terminal code, I'll try to provide everything I'll try to write all that stuff, and then I'll try to give you that Google Doc. I'm not having them right now. The 3 things will come on your email: the code, the full source code. Yes, full source code will come, and then the second thing that will come is the certificate and the recording. Certificate, code, and recording. 3 things will come. Terminal code also. All right.
So, can you just let me know about how to get started with backend?
I think a good way.
For me right now to
Sorry?
work with backend. It's a little bit overwhelming for me to work with backend right now. I had just little knowledge of React, but when you write the backend code today, it was just laid over my head. But I just started learning it right now when you just shared all the code.
But I think actually the good idea. I get that. But Payal, I think the first step could be, let's strengthen ourselves with the JavaScript first. Okay, JavaScript is something that we need to understand first, because it's all JavaScript written technically. The NodeJs is nothing. It's just simply JavaScript that is written. And then maybe I think the second thing is that it's just like you're seeing them for the first time. That's why you're a little scared, or maybe little finding it difficult. But with time, once you realize this, you'll redo this twice or thrice. You will be good on that. I'll share you the LinkedIn ID. You guys can connect with me on LinkedIn definitely. And in case you are finding any difficulty and I mean you are stuck at somewhere, please feel free to ping me on LinkedIn.
Yeah. Hello.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm working on Java. So you have any suggestions for me?
Change the language.
Okay.
Just kidding. I think.
Just I'm working